What's going on, guys? Lon here from Android Authority, and we are still here at E3. It is the last day, and we just got a chance to take a look at Oculus Rift, and we just wanted to give you guys our impressions or reactions of it, rather. And I'm joined by one of our writers here, Andrew Grush, and we're just going to kind of riff and talk about it and give you guys our thoughts. So I'll just kind of go ahead and go over a little bit. So this is my first time trying Oculus Rift, and I got to try Project Morpheus yesterday, but today is my first time trying Oculus Rift, and I got to play a game called Valkyrie, and you're basically a pilot inside of a plane, and it's actually pretty cool. So it's very immersive, but I don't necessarily feel like I'm actually completely in the game. It just kind of feels like it's just right in my face, but I'm inside of a large aircraft, and I'm shooting other players that are flying around. It was kind of really hard to play just because, I don't know, I guess because it's my first time, and just shooting these other airplanes that are flying around, it was kind of really difficult to control, so I probably would have needed a lot more time to just gain some experience and be able to aim better and just get the hang of the controls better. But it was a really cool experience. I thought graphically it looked really good. You are able to notice some pixels, but I definitely would say that it was a lot sharper than what I saw on Project Morpheus. But both of them, I would say they're pretty much the same as far as the performance and the responsiveness of it all. It was a really great experience. So, but what about you, Grush? What did you think about your experience with Oculus Rift? Was this your first time checking it out?
Yeah, before this, all I've messed around with was the Gear VR, and comparatively, this just blows it away. I was so impressed. I checked out Edge of Nowhere, and basically you start out in an Arctic setting, and you're just, it kind of has an eerie theme, and you're looking around and you have to jump from platform to platform. Things are crumbling as you're going past. And then as you get further in, you start seeing dead bodies, you start hearing noises, and then I was climbing down this ladder at one point, and all of a sudden these I don't know what, there's some kind of monster, I don't know. And then they start coming down at you, and it's a really intense game. I'm still it was amazing.
Yeah, I could definitely tell by your reactions when you're playing it that you're kind of getting really into it.
Yes,
so
I jumped out of my seat at one point when one of those things came behind me. I was like, what the heck is that, you know? And yeah, you felt I do agree, it isn't you don't fully feel there, you are in front. I mean, this was not a first-person game, it was a third-person for one thing. But it's still a very different feel than a traditional playing on compared to my PS4 or whatever. It's a huge difference.
Yeah, it definitely is very different. The game that I was playing, it was first person, so I guess I felt a little bit more involved. But again, it just kind of feels like I'm just seeing everything closer and not necessarily feeling like I'm completely in that world. And I don't know about you, but I was actually still able to see a little bit through the bottom of it. I could see my actual hands, so I don't know if you had that problem.
A little bit, yeah, just a little bit, but and it might just be a fit issue, the way when I have glasses, well, so do you, and so that pushed out the headset maybe a little more. I don't know.
Yeah. On top of it fits glasses just fine. It was pretty glass friendly, but it's definitely not hair friendly, I'll say that. So I kind of had a Wolverine look, at least that's what Josh was saying. And Josh is behind the camera right now. How did you feel about it, Josh? He's actually periscoping, so I'm gonna...
Periscoping my reactions right now to it. So I did have that problem a little bit where I had just a little bit of light coming through on the bottom. I will admit that was a bit of the issue. But while you had a first-person perspective, you had a third-person perspective in a more of an action sense. Yeah. I had a straight-up platformer. I played what was called Kronos, and Kronos, you just had a character running around, some monsters, and you're able to fight them with your sword. It was a little bit, it reminded me a little bit of what's that one game on PS2? That was...
that one game, because there was only, three PS2 games.
Shadow of the Colossus. It was a little bit like Gotcha. Shadow of the Colossus, and but on a smaller scale. But the thing about it was, instead of a first-person perspective where you're seeing and everything's coming at you, it's more about depth. Imagine watching the Avengers, and you were able to see that people were really far away, but you could see what was near you in the IMAX 3D. This was a little bit more like that. It wasn't like the Hulk running at you. It was more like those wide scenes. You're inside this big stone temple, and you can look around and actually see the details. You can tell that there's real depth between the different columns and stuff like that. So that was the thing. And then when the big boss came out, that was when it got kind of funny, because you run away from the big boss, and then his hand comes out, and that was the first time it was like, whoa, he's trying to grab me. But the gameplay was good. I do think the resolution could use a bump up, but that's the truth about all these VR platforms, to be honest. But all in all, it's a good experience. But this is just my opinion. I would equate Oculus in the same vein as a lot of the other VR platforms, where it's still just a regular gaming experience, just made better with depth and 3D, rather than like a full immersive experience.
Well, this has just been our quick reactions of Oculus Rift, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up down below. We definitely appreciate it, and also subscribe if you don't want to miss out on any of our future content, and also stay tuned for everything else that we have coming. As always, thank you so much for watching, guys. Keep it locked here on Android Authority, because we are your source for all things Android and E3 2015.